See, what most people can't see is that Satan has done a good job of villainizing God. That's the reason why we're seeing this strife with the homosexual, lesbian, transgender community, because they are saying these are our rights. This is what's best for us. But what you're saying is best for you is not what's best for everyone. God say, my ways is above your ways. My thoughts is above your thoughts. And his good is above our good.
What the church won't say.
Welcome to What the Church Won't Say, where we have difficult conversations at the foot of the cross. And today's conversation will be no exception. It will be a difficult one because the title of this message is God is Not Good. So before we dive into that, I need you guys to know that I previously worked in a prison for 4 years. And what would you do if I told you I overheard an inmate having a conversation talking about how he tortured his own son? And the sickening part, he described that he took pleasure in torturing his son. We can go on and on describing what this man it is, but I don't think no one would argue the fact that he is evil. Isaiah 53:9, I want to read something to you with that in mind. It reads, "And he made his grave with the wicked," speaking of Jesus, "and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him." It pleased the Lord to crush him. It pleased God the Father to watch Jesus torture. And we just talked about how a man that we identified in prison being evil for doing the exact same thing. So wouldn't that principle be true for God? If it was true for this man, if this man was evil, wouldn't God have to be evil? I know people looking at me like, but wait, that's different. Let's talk about it. Go with me to Genesis 2:17. We're going to have a very weighty conversation. I'm going to need you to put your thinking cap on. In Genesis 2:17, it reads, "But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it." Now, when I read this verse in 17, it says the tree of knowledge. So I looked up the word knowledge in original Hebrew, and that word knowledge means to know. It means to recognize, to be aware, to be in possession of, and essentially information that's independent of God. I also looked up the word good in the original Hebrew, and it means beautiful, best, better, fine, favor, pleasant, cheerful. I also looked up the word evil in the original Hebrew, and it means bad, calamity, displeasure, distress, hurt, heavy. So when you put these terminologies together, that means that this tree gave man the capacity to independently decide for themselves what was beautiful, best, better, pleasant, also that was distressful, calamity, mischievous, or sorrowful on their own. So now man is determining for themselves what is good and what is evil. I want you guys to take note of something, that this tree says it is the knowledge of good and evil, not the knowledge of good or evil, meaning in man's fallen, carnal, fleshly nature, this law of good and evil is bound together. And when man in his flesh go to do good, he automatically tugs the reins of evil into his life. It flows so deeply that even Adam and Eve children, the first sons, was Cain, which was evil, and Abel, which was good. And you can see it. You could have a man stop and help a woman change her flat tire. The woman goes in her trunk, bend over to get the tools to change the tire, and the man's looking at her butt. You cannot pull the reins of good without evil flowing in your life. Even Paul makes reference to this good and evil in man's flesh. Go with me to Romans 7:21. And it reads, "I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man. In my spirit, I crave for God's word. I crave to do the right things." But then he says this, "But I see another law in my members." That word members means body. "Warring against the law of my mind and bringing me into captivity into the law of sin, which is in my members." Again, the law of captivity in my body. Then he says, "O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death?" Then he says, I thank God through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then, with the mind, I myself serve the law of God, but with the flesh, the law of sin. So this is the reason why I'm going to help you ladies out. You be saying, well, he's such a good dude. I don't understand why he would do X, Y, and Z. If he does not know Christ, he is operating in the law of good and evil. So he may turn around and do a good deed for you, take you out, make your toes curl, get your hair done, and then turn around and bang your sister, because that law is bound in man's flesh. Yes, he will do good, but evil must follow in some form or fashion. So this is the reason why God cannot stand the flesh, because it puts on like it's like him. It puts on like it's good, but it's not really good, because it is at its core is that good will pull evil into it. Now, I know a lot of y'all is saying, well, I thought you just said God wasn't good. You're right. God is not good. God is the only good. If you think goodness lies in mankind, you are desperately deceived already. God is the only good you have. And I know it does not appear like it at all times, but remember, if you are in your fallen nature, or even if you're a believer, yet you don't walk in the spirit, you're going to see things from this particular bias that I'm telling you about. And your judging matters based on this flesh nature. I hate to interrupt this video, but I got to share something with you guys that's absolutely crazy. You know what it is? 75% of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. I know, that's crazy. Well, let's take this moment right now to go ahead and hit subscribe, and let's turn on your bell notifications so you never miss a thing. And while we at it, let's go ahead and crush that like button. Hey, I appreciate it. Now let's get back to it. Go with me to John 8:15. Check this out. Jesus tells them, yea, judge after the flesh. I judge no man. Yet if I judge, my judgment is true, for I am not alone, but I am the Father that sent me. I want you to hear what he says. He said, you're judging after the flesh. You're judging off what's good to you. That's what the flesh is. That's why people can't understand God, because they are judging off their bias, what they think is good, information independently of God, because the flesh is not considering what's good for all. It's considering what's good for that particular person or that community. Now take a look at what Jesus is saying. You're judging out your flesh, but he says, I judge no man. Yet if I do judge, basically what he's saying is, I'm not judging alone. My Father is downloading judgment onto me. So he's not trying to understand the motives of people. The Father is talking to him about the proper judgment, because he is the only one that is good. So this reminds me of an NBA team. You may have 2 or 3 players on your team that can get 20, 30, 40, 50 points. But as a coach, you got to make a decision what's best for all. You may have to talk to that player that could get you 50 points and say, listen, I know you can go out there and give me 50, but if you can just get me 30, the odds say that we will win the championship, that we will win more games. But the question is, do you want the championship or do you want the scoring title, which are 2 different things? And too often people are going for what's best for them. That's the reason why we're seeing this strife with the homosexual, lesbian, transgender community, because they are saying these are our rights. This is what's best for us. But what you're saying is best for you is not what's best for everyone. Let's take a homosexual couple, for example, that decided to raise or adopt a child. And they may say to themselves, this is what's good for us, but it may not be what's good for all, because now you have a child or children being raised by people that have already determined their sexuality and unconsciously influencing them, because children look up to the people that raised them. And so it's good for them, but it's not good for all. And the reasons why it's not good for all, because in Genesis 1:27, God created man and female. He created Adam and Eve. And then in Genesis 1:31, it says God beheld everything he created, and he said it was very good. So God, the only good, determined that male and female It's good. It's very good for that to move throughout the earth. And then we have men that have fell into their fleshly nature, that have determined what's good and evil for themselves, that are saying what God decided before they were even created is evil. Well, who you gonna follow? God say, my ways is above your ways. My thoughts is above your thoughts. And his good is above our good. See, Satan has done a good job of villainizing God. And we just follow the trends and listen to what people say, because we got people saying, well, if God really exists, why would he allow kids to be raped? Why would there be so much evil on the earth? Why is there so much violence? Why are there people that's going hungry and starving to death? And on we go blaming God. And Satan is saying, yeah, you're right. God don't exist because there's evil in the earth. But what we don't completely understand, that the Bible says that Satan is the God of this world. God gave the earth to Adam, and Adam was to rule it. Adam sinned, he handed over the keys to Satan, and ever since Satan has been running wild, joyriding this world, turning it upside down. That's why you're seeing so much evil. Back to that thought. When I said when God makes decision, he has to make a decision for all. And we're not going to completely understand the decision he's making, because some of it is above our pay grade. But that's why he said, trust me, lean not to your own understanding. Acknowledge me in all thy ways and I will direct thy path. Meaning, don't just jump conclusion and say, this is the way things is, that God is bad, or this situation is happening because God is not favoring me. A lot of this stuff have nothing to do with God. A lot of it is the decisions we make in the world that is fallen that we're in. We even have this way of pointing a finger at God and blaming him for young teens and young men dying early on the streets. And we saying it's all God's fault. And he's evil that he's allowing this to happen. But even in that, God is loving people in ways we can never understand. Go with me to James 5:1. Let's try to shine some light on God's heart. And it says, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. Hold on to that thought. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. We're going to read a little bit more before I explain that. Behold, the hire of the laborers hath reaped down your fields, which of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth, and have been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. This verse is alluding to something that people, when they're left on this earth in a state of sin, that they are storing up sinful desires in their soul in the days to come, specifically talking about when they go to hell. With that being said, I want you to consider something. If God takes the life of a child at the age of 18, knowing that this child would never receive him, never give his life to him, because God has the ability to know all. So what if I took his life now, and he only has 18 years of lust in his heart? So though he's going to go to hell, it will not be as grievous as a torture as someone that was on this earth for 80 years. So I'm going to make a decision filtered through love, giving this man what's best for him in his present state. And how about I even consider that I know that this man is going to hurt other people. So if I take his life right now, I will do this world of justice and what's best for him at the exact same time. I know so many people don't want to hear this because it makes God look like a villain. But the truth of the matter is, God got to make hard decisions of what's best for everybody. And everybody that's in their flesh is not going to like it because it's not going to benefit them. But it's not about what benefits a single person or community. It's about what's best for all. And being good means I'm doing what's best for all. I hope I said something to make you think about the goodness of God from another perspective through the eyes of the lens of wisdom. Thank you guys for taking the time to hear me out. Don't forget to share this video, and don't worry about me. If y'all tune in, I'm going to be here to say what the church won't say. Till next time.